It is prediction time for the Chinese Grand Prix.
All
All right, boys. Chinese Grand Prix time. Second race of the season. And I would like to also mention our 14th episode.
Let's go.
And
Let's go. We
and-
did it.
And
We
did
did
hear
it.
what you said. And gonna have to put a delete on that one, Alex. You're the one that comes after me all the time.
It was JW.
No, that was not me. That was not me.
I was
That was
perfectly
not
fine.
me. Do
I was
not.
perfectly fine with it.
All right, well, it's out there now, so I guess we all have to do it.
Yep.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, damn it.
Trust me, I practice this accent very often. There's Chinese, Japanese, and Korean. They're all very
Oh,
different.
Jesus Christ.
Shut the.
Yeah, you're gonna get us canceled. You were
Ah,
worried
sorry.
about me the entire time.
My kitchen just.
Sorry, my kitchen just started barking.
I have to clip all this out.
Damn it! All right.
I can't use any of this.
All right,
It's the
let's-
first part of the
All
episode.
right, let's start it.
Listen, I don't want to. No, we can just keep talking because I can just edit it all out. What I
Yeah.
want to say is I desperately want to keep it in.
No, keep one of them in. No.
I just don't know.
Predictions.
The
Chinese
kitchen barking
Grand
was
Prix.
great.
Chinese
Grand
Grand
Prix.
Prix.
Chinese Grand Prix predictions, boys. Now that we have one race under our belt, we have a little, I don't even want to say significant knowledge of what we can anticipate, other than I think there's a few things. But I still think we don't know enough to give reasonable predictions in terms of certain things. So I still think it's going to be a fairly massive crapshoot, and we're just going to have to get lucky on some of these. So let's start with the first one. And let's go through reasonable prediction number one. Alex, what is your reasonable prediction for the Chinese Grand Prix?
Ferrari podium.
I think that's a very reasonable prediction. JW, do you concur that that's a very reasonable prediction?
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Okay. JW, what is your reasonable prediction?
Both Mercedes top 5.
Both Mercedes top 5. I think that's a very reasonable
Mine
prediction.
will make more
I like that,
sense
actually.
down the line.
Mine's, I think, a very reasonable prediction. I put one Mercedes gets a podium.
Yeah, reasonable.
Yeah, it's a reasonable
Here,
prediction.
here. Approved.
One bold prediction, JW, I'm going to start with you. One bold prediction for the Chinese Grand Prix.
Okay. I think we're going to get a different race winner.
Did we call that bold? Name
I
them.
mean,
think it's
everyone's thinking that Mercedes is just going to run with it. So.
Not everyone.
All right.
Oh, that one I kind of want to veto because I think
I'm gonna veto. I'm gonna
I'm
veto
vetoing
for
it.
sure.
All right.
come up with another.
All right. On the fly, I think we're going to get. All right. I think a Ferrari's going to win the race.
That's a bold
Ooh,
take.
I like that. I think that's
There
a
we
bold take. I think that's good. That almost was mine. Almost was mine. Because I just felt like Lewis has dominated at the Chinese Grand Prix many a time.
He
and I was
got
like, he's
sprint pole last year and he won the sprint.
due for. I know he's due for one. I was gonna put that, but I didn't. My one bold prediction is Lindblad finishes in the top 5.
Wow.
Wow. Approved. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I'm so amped on the kid right now that I'm less like I'm throwing it. I was like maybe I can make that dream. I was like, fuck that. It's my bold prediction. All right, one unrealistic and dream prediction. What?
My bold.
His bold.
Oh, you're bold.
Yeah.
You're bold, Alex.
Red Bulls, plural, outperform Mercedes.
What? That should be your unrealistic, homie. That is so bold.
You guys.
You went hyper bold.
You guys
I like
have
it.
to.
I like it.
Remember,
I like it.
Remember. When we go to the dream scenario, it's first dream / unrealistic, meaning
Yes.
it has to have both components, meaning you want it to happen,
All
or
right,
you would
right.
it would be a dream,
Yes.
whether it's good or
Yes.
bad. So if you say something that's like, "Oh, I want both McLarens to finish top 5," it's not outlandish.
That's not outlandish. Agreed.
Is that
no.
that's not outlandish?
It's kind of outlandish, but
That was
anyway,
my dad joke.
Red Bulls outperform Mercedes.
I like
Okay,
that
I like
one.
that. I like that actually a
Yeah.
lot. I like that a lot. Okay, so given the fact that Alex has provided context and the details to our dream / unrealistic predictions, Alex, I'm going to start with you. What is your dream / unrealistic prediction?
Haas outscore McLaren.
Oh, dude, I'm not going to lie. I think that's teetering more on bold. I kind of want to veto this one.
I'll approve.
All right, I'm going to approve.
Bada bing.
I'm going to approve,
I'll
mostly because I want to see it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
we need
me
to will
too.
this into
Yeah.
existence collectively. As a McLaren fan,
Yeah.
Want to see Haas do better.
All right.
God, that's tough. It's tough being a McLaren fan. JW, what about you?
I would absolutely love a Lando win.
It is a dream.
It is for
and,
sure.
And also, candidly, feel that it is pretty unrealistic.
Yeah. I mean,
Alex?
listen, this is coming
It
from
might change. It might change. I'll allow it now if they start performing.
Yeah,
If
100%.
they start getting 3s and 4s, then they're in the mix.
Yeah, like
I
I
agree.
think
Technically, Lando was 5th.
yeah.
Yeah.
He was
He was
about
just
a minute
far
off,
fucking
but
away.
A minute
but
far.
still,
Dude, he was going to
still.
get lapped. Like, he
Yeah.
was close to being
He was about to get lapped
lapped.
by George, and that probably
Yeah.
would have stung so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, that would have hurt. I'll allow it. I'll allow it this time for
Perfect.
sure. My one dream / unrealistic prediction is that, and I will provide definition to this, 2 young drivers finish on the podium. By young drivers, I mean either last year's rookie class or Arvid Lindblad this year. 2 of them. You're going to veto that?
And
It has to be
I'll tell
2.
you why. I'll tell you why. Isaac Hajar
Yeah.
was 3rd.
On the
Was
grid.
technically poised to be on the podium or potentially be on the podium in the first race.
Oh, last year?
No, this year.
This year,
He was
his car
he
blew
was
out.
running third.
He was running 3rd. Was it hard for him to keep it? Probably yes, but we already know and have seen what the Red Bull is capable of. So I think I'm going to veto it. What do you think,
Oh,
J-Dub?
You see, there's a part of me that doesn't want to veto it because
don't
I
wanna.
really want
I-
to see it happen.
Yeah, I don't want to veto it.
2 rookie class last year, Arvid Lindblad this year, 2 of them have to get the podium.
All right.
2.
Oh, two
Corey.
at the same time.
2 at the
Yeah.
same
Oh,
time.
okay.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
you're good. You're
Yeah.
good. You got no
Jesus,
points
yeah.
for that. No worries.
Yeah.
Oh my
no
God,
points
I was
for
gonna
that.
say
You're
that-
good.
Approved.
Yeah,
I was like, it's the
approved.
most unrealistic out of all 3 of us.
Approved. Approved.
Hit the
You seen
approve
that
button.
meme of the guy, the looking at
should
the
have Why don't we have
the
gavels?
slideshow of all the chicks? Approved.
Oh, I have a
approved,
gavel
approved.
at home. Don't ask me why, but
Dude, I have a
one.
gavel and a powdered wig, and I'm going to wear them for predictions next time. All right,
Jesus.
boys. Now that we're out of that one, geez, I was trying to figure out, I'm like, what are you guys vetoing here? That's impossible. But it would be dope if it happened.
Yeah.
All right, pole sitter. JW, start with you.
My pole sitter for this race is George William Russell.
Alex?
Sir Lewis.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. I have a question. It's a sprint weekend.
Yeah.
Are we
Pole
just
sitter for feature race.
feature? Perfect. Okay.
Not worried about
yeah.
the sprint race.
Yeah.
Feature race only.
Okay.
I don't want to add more complexity into this. Yeah, feature race only. My pole sitter is Jorge Russell. So 2 Russells, 1 Hamilton. Alex, I love that you're just like the guy that's just like, let's go Ferrari. Winner of the race, JW.
All right. I am keeping to what I had put originally because I had to put a different bold take because you guys suck. I think Max Verstappen's winning in China.
Whoa! You think he's gonna be on a?
I think he's going to be pissed off, and
Yeah,
there's nothing
he's gonna
more
be-
dangerous than a pissed off Max. And
That's true.
he fucking loves China.
He's the only person that I think when he gets more angry and enraged, gets more hyper focused.
Yep, because he blocks everything out.
Yeah, he is really
Yeah.
just like a mental machine. You could blame his dad for that. You can blame
you think?
you can blame the love the neglected love from his relationship with his dad pretty much his whole life. And then making him just drive out in the cold rain in a go-kart for 30 laps while every other kid's eating ham sandwiches inside.
Leaving him stranded at a gas station helps too.
Yes, and purposely.
Oh,
It's so
God.
terrible. Yost, don't. You got to keep following me on Instagram though. I see you in my stories. All right, Alex, what say you?
Max Verstappen.
Max? Both of you pick Max?
Mm-hmm.
I can't get off the Russell train, dude. Listen. Chinese Grand Prix, it works in the straights. They've got the tire degradation down. It is a fast-paced, maximum straight. I think he's got it in the bag, no doubt. So I'm picking Russell as my winner. First to DNF, if we believe that there will be a DNF, which I think there's going to be a DNF, quite possibly every single race this season. So first DNF, what's your predictions, Alex? I'll start with you.
Same. Lance Stroll.
Damn it.
Can't not pick Lance. Dude,
Yeah.
I want to.
You can't not pick an Aston.
Anything negative, I just want to be Lance.
Can we change this question to will a Aston Martin DNF?
No, because it might change over time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep hearing that they have significant parts upgrades coming in like the next 2 or 3 races. We'll see. Who did I
Mine's
start
Lance
with?
Stroll
Alex,
too.
Yeah.
You guys are going to think this one's weird, but I picked Liam Lawson. I think Liam
I
Lawson's due
was
for a
this
crash
close
out.
to putting him down.
Hey, ask what who I think the first curse word is going to be.
That is actually the next one. So who's your first curse word?
Liam Lawson.
Dude, that's actually, I think that, yeah, once someone's ramming him from the rear, it's definitely going to be screaming on the radio. I actually like that. JW, who's your first curse word?
Fernando Alonso Diaz.
Okay. I like that. I always like a Fernando Alonso pick when it comes to cussing. I actually picked Max Verstappen. I think Max Verstappen would be the first one we hear over the radio.
That's a good one.
Slinging
I think
cussing.
he's a reformed person.
Max?
Yeah.
Not on that track, he's not. Will the winner lead every lap? We're all saying no. I was going to say a head shake I think is good enough for all of us. I very much agree, especially with what we saw last race. There's no doubt in my mind.
And it never happens in China anyways.
Yeah, I think we're good on that one. Although we were really wrong on some of the ones last one.
Yeah.
Will there be a red flag deployed? Or will there be a red flag? I say yes. So 2 no's and a yes.
I have a feeling I'm going to regret that later.
Yeah, I think you will too. Will the race be won by under 3 seconds?
Yes.
Okay, Alex says no. JW says yes. I also say yes. I think it's going to be close at the end. I don't know why. The scenario that I created in my head is that there's going to be like a late virtual safety car. And they're literally just going to be stacked on top of one another. And that it's going to be probably like a second or second and a half will be the difference between race winner and second place. I don't know why I conjured that up in my head. I just did. I may be one of those people. What do they call them? Like a medium where I can see into the future?
A clairvoyant?
Yeah, whatever they are. Will there be lap 1 contact? We got this wrong last time. Somehow we got it wrong. It should have been right. Colapinto actually us if you think about it. Do you think there'll be lap 1 contact? JW, what do you think?
Yes.
Alex? I also agree. That magic ain't happening again.
No,
Sorry.
it's not happening twice.
Again. It's just not happening twice. Nope. I think, one of the things, and I heard this on another podcast and very much agreed with the take. I think the drivers through the first lap were still just a little bit timid trying to figure it out. Alex, you said it last episode where you said, hey, they're all going to be going into the turn 4 miles an hour. They all kind of minded their P's and Q's coming in for the most part.
They were a little reluctant. They were a little reluctant. Let's call it that.
I think they'll be a little bit more open this time.
I think the most careful one, especially on that lap 1, was a guy like Lando. Lando played it super safe at the race start.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did. Yeah, and you could tell some people were just timid and kind of backed off of it a little bit. Do you think there will be a safety car deployed at this race? I say yes. Mostly because there are times that the Chinese Grand Prix gets a little wet, gets a little slippery, and if there's any chance of precipitation, there will be a safety car.
That was my first thought on Max
winning.
For sure.
Because of wet drive. Yeah. That's smart thinking. Actually, very, very smart thinking. Yep.
I
didn't even consider that, but I considered it here for some
There's so much runoff at the Chinese Grand Prix, runoff areas.
I've also considered that.
Yeah, especially on that straight. So, yeah.
I know. I'm with you. Trust me, that was like a 50-50 for me for various reasons. Again, trying to create a scenario in my head that made sense. And yes, ended up being my 51-49 split on that one, essentially. All right. Now that we're through the first race, we discussed and had a little bit of debate on this last time as far as which drivers we felt were under the most pressure. Now that we're through the first race, I suspect that dynamic has probably changed a little bit. So, JW, I'll start with you. What drivers do you think are under the most pressure going into the second race of the year?
Esteban Ocon, Liam Lawson, and Lando Norris. I think Lando is still under a lot of pressure. Yeah, I don't know if you want me to back it up or if we're going to wait to do that.
Yeah, give me some context on the three of them.
Ocon, I think, is quite simple. Ollie Behrman outdrove him. He outdrove him for the better part of last season as well. And if there's one guy who I think is really on the hot seat, it's him. Because he needs to start bringing something to the table. If not, listen, the Ferrari Academy has no shortage of drivers. And the Haas is a Ferrari Academy. It's part of the Ferrari family. So that's for Ocon. Lawson, because I don't think anyone was expecting Arvin Lindblad to be that good. And
yeah, that was a very huge disparity.
Yeah.
And I know Lawson got off like very, very slow and it almost ended his race. but he just did not do the same
do
things
anything.
throughout the race. Yeah,
He
it
didn't do a
was
thing.
very one-sided.
And I hate to say it, and I swear I didn't pick it on purpose because he got booted from Red Bull after the Chinese Grand Prix last year. But it's just
Yuki, I'm kidding.
he just I just think he's going to be a driver that's going to be under a lot of pressure for the better part of his career, just because of how his career has played out. And Lando, I think, listen, last year he had a very dicey Chinese Grand Prix. And as a world champion, you are expected to show it at some point. And I think that point is coming up for Lando either at this race or in Suzuka. So, yeah.
Okay, I have some comments.
Yep.
There you go.
For it.
Lando is one of my 3. I don't have to add to that. Really, you're
Perfect.
world champion. You've finished a whooping minute behind the race leading pace. You got to perform. You can finish 3rd, you can finish 4th, you can finish 5th, but I want you finishing 10 seconds behind the pace as the season goes. We'll talk about that later. Right now, pressure's on you. I don't disagree with Liam Lawson. I don't really have anything to say there. I think you're right. I don't think he doesn't have a car that can get him in the top 10. If he's finishing 11, 12, close enough to, the pace of the last of the midfield, that's okay. If he's finishing 14th or 15th, there will be
problems.
a building pressure and problems.
I say that with an asterisk, and my asterisk is if Lindblad is consistently finishing in the top 10, top 8, and Liam Lawson is finishing 11, 12, that's still bad for Lawson.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to agree with you a little bit more on that emphasis because Lindblad is now one of my top 3. He demonstrated that he had the pace. He demonstrated he's here to prove himself at this point, not to finish races, not to be, fighting for the last lag of the midfield, but now how can he stay close to the 5th, 6th driver on the
fight?
Interesting. I like your take.
But so I'm already sharing 2 of mine. So Lindblad and Lando, as I agreed with you. But then to contest your 3rd one, which would be your first one, is Ocon. The only reason why I wouldn't necessarily agree strongly is because I feel there's a handful of drivers that will now have more pressure than Esteban Ocon. I think that he had a very decent race. I think he was close to getting into the points. I don't think you can really argue that his performance was bad. Now, if we look at Williams, specifically Carlos Sainz, a driver of his caliber, regardless of it not being his fault necessarily, I mean, the car's been overweight, the car's been shit the whole time, the rumors were true, whatever
Yeah, it's a bloated bitch for sure.
Albon didn't really look like he was driving a lot better than him, and the difference was 2 places. I mean, Carlos Sainz was on the verge of solidifying himself as the number 1 driver in Ferrari at one point, and now he's finishing 15th. Regardless of him not having a car that allows him to perform, he is definitely, as usual, when he changes teams, like we saw this when he went to Renault, we saw this when he went to Ferrari, the pressure builds on him, and usually race 2 or 3 is when he starts shining. So I think the ball's in his court right now. Yep. He needs to display a better drive.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
think those are my 3.
I think the Carlos Sainz is a good take. I actually really like that one.
And I think it's interesting that you picked him. And I really, out of all your 3 picks, like obviously, you shared yours already.
Yeah.
I particularly like the Sainz pick because it's not a guy you would think of just because of how good of a driver he is.
Yeah.
And you're like, there's just no way that this guy's going to be under pressure of losing his seat ever. But
yeah, it wouldn't be about losing his seat, it'd be about technically.
But pressure.
Looking better. Better.
Exactly. So I really love that pick. Really like it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Corey?
Lawson was also on my list, and for similar reasons, but additional reasons. Hear me out. You guys are going to think I'm crazy with this because I think everybody thinks that it's just done. But I'd say over a period of time, if you have an Arvid Lindblad who, let's just say it's too early to tell, but let's just say his trajectory continues. Let's just say Chinese Grand Prix, Arvid Lindblad pokes his nose into high qualifying, has another great race. Liam Lawson in his head has got to be going probably similar to what he did last year. Like, oh, I'm on the back foot here. There's more that I got to tee. Also, there is a familiar reserve driver that is familiar with both Racing Bulls and Red Bull. And as a new regulation, could easily, very, very easily, and desire from probably F1 and the rest of the fans, could very easily step into that second seat and just and probably perform pretty well. I'd have to imagine when there's new regulations could probably perform really well. I think there's a lot of pressure on Lawson. And I think there's going to continue being a lot of pressure on Lawson because I don't think Lawson is that great of a driver. I think he's a fast driver. I don't think he's a mature driver. I also had Norris on mine for the same exact reasons. You're a defending champion.
Yep.
You've got to be the defending champion. You have to act like a defending champion. You got to do everything that you possibly can to defend. I will say, I do believe, given the fact that they can now explore that Mercedes power unit a little bit more, he's going to have more in terms of the delivery of the car. But he's going to have to be the one to execute. It can't all be on the car. He's got to be in defending championship form, period. So I think there's a lot of pressure on Norris. My third one is Lewis, and specifically because of this track, the historics of this track. And I don't think it's a Ferrari pressure. I think it is, he's performed so well around China. We saw what he did last year. I think there's going to be that internal pressure that exists, and I think there's going to be an elevated expectation given the Ferrari results of 3 and 4 in Melbourne. I truly believe that I think there's a fan pressure, and I think there's a Lewis pressure, not necessarily a Ferrari pressure. But yeah, just given how he's performed there in the past, I think that's going to exist in this coming week. So those are my 3.
I dig it.
Yeah, same.
Nice.
Yeah, I dig it a lot.
Those were all good.
No more comments from the peanut gallery, huh? Look at me go.
Yeah.
Look at me
Look
go
at
in
you.
look at me well thought in 5 minutes time. Look at me. So what do you guys, this is just another off the wall question, but what are your expectations in terms of, like, what do you want to see differently out of this race in China versus what we saw in Melbourne? I suspect we probably want to see a closer race in the second half of the actual Grand Prix, but what other things do you want to see?
I'm very excited for this race, mainly because it's a sprint weekend, and I'm not particularly interested. It's not particularly interesting regarding the sprint, but it's just the fact that they have one practice session to sort of get to grips with this track with those cars.
Yeah.
So I think the sprint is going to be very chaotic. Like, in fact, I would be surprised if we had multiple DNFs during the sprint, similar to what happened in Coda last year. It's also, in my opinion, a big driver circuit. I think
It is.
I think the Shanghai International Circuit is quite complex, especially that first set of turns.
Yep.
Very, very complex. And Arvid Lindblad has never driven on this track before. This is a F1 only track and F1 Academy, but who cares? So I'll be very curious to see how he does at a track that he's never driven at.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I just think the sprint race is going to be completely different for some reason. It's going to be very different from the race.
You know what I would love, honestly? Formula 2 does this. They should invert the grid for the sprints. So if you qualify on pole, you're actually starting 10th.
Yeah, they do that in F1 Academy as well. That's why Dirksen won the sprint race in
Melbourne.
Yeah,
I think that'd be very interesting.
I don't know if I agree with that. That's
I think it's weird that they honestly don't do the reverse grid style, because they do it in F1 Academy and they also do it in F2, but they never do it in F1, which I find to be just kind of interesting. The fact that it applies to 2 series, but not the F1, but is what it is. I honestly, I want to see a wet race.
Yeah,
Same.
me too.
I do. I just want to see a wet. And honestly, it doesn't even have to be crazy wet. It could just be like damp and dries over time, right?
Correct.
You have a little rain cloud come over and then you see what happens when the track. I think there's so much to be gained in terms of like data as well.
Yes.
Just the opportunity.
I want to see how those
it.
cars react to that power surge with a wet surface.
It can be a slip and slide. I think it's just going to be a slip and
Dude,
slide.
and it's a track where if it rains, there is so much runoff area where you could just get beached.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Will we see a Lance Stroll beaching?
Yeah.
100%.
That's exactly what I was thinking of when I picked him.
It's a great. It's a
Exactly.
great.
He's
it's a
done it
great pick.
before. He's done it before.
He's done
Dude,
it before. He could do it again.
He did it on a formation.
Oh, in Brazil.
Yeah.
That's true.
And
Yep.
then tried to dig himself out of it and just dug a deeper hole into the ground. There's so much good cell phone footage of that because it was right in front of a main grandstand of him just spinning tires.
That's exactly what I was thinking of when I picked him.
I think
as
that's
DNF.
actually a really great pick. I should have thought that through just a little bit more, and I didn't.
Yeah,
Damn
just
it.
any
Mm.
just, at this point in the season, just any Aston, Corey. It's the safe bet.
Yeah,
But
it is.
there is something interesting about the Aston Martins. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but they retired and unretired themselves
Oh, of
multiple
course I
times.
noticed that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm like,
It was for data purposes for sure.
no,
course.
but it's wild though. Like I've never
it is.
thought.
Well, here's the thing. Another friend of mine who watches F1, we were discussing, we went out to lunch on Friday and we were talking about like the number of DNFs and I predicted 6. And so when Alonso went out, he was the 4th or 5th. And I was like, oh shit, we're definitely going to get 6. And then he came back out on the track. I'm like, fuck. There ended up being 6. So my prediction was right because they ended up retiring the car. But I was like, why are these? He's been 20 laps down. Why are they sending him back out?
I'm gonna go ahead and say something potentially ignorant, but I didn't know once you officially retired a car, you could put it.
I didn't think
bring
you
it
could
back
do
in.
They
that
didn't-
either.
They didn't officially retire him, though. They just had him in the pits. They were just changing things on his car, and they sent him back out.
They lifted him and they brought him into the pit.
to my
that's
Yeah, but
officially a retirement.
But I wonder-
what I
understanding, as soon
understand.
as you do that,
We should look into
That's
the.
what I meant.
We should look into the rules though, because
Well, the
they're-
rules probably. I mean, they
I would
obviously
assume
they would have
there's-
been fined if they would have,
right.
So I'm
I
sure,
assume
like,
there's
what I'm-
some sort of like declaration that they have to make to the FIA. But I think I agree with what you're saying, because every single other circumstance where we've seen that, the car's been retired, and this time there's like, get more data.
Oh,
for
and
us.
Lance did the same thing. Lance came
Yeah,
out
they
with
both
two.
did.
He was lapped. Alonso was only lapped once, and then Lance came out with +2. I remember seeing it pop up, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, it was weird. It was very strange. Yeah, when they came back on track, I'm like, what's happening? By the way, if you remember back to the broadcast, they never ever showed. They never showed an Aston Martin on the broadcast. I don't think we saw it other than the race start. I don't think we ever saw an Aston Martin,
which is a bit sad. Like it sucks, but and it kind of sucks that they didn't show any Astons at any moment, because Alonso had a pretty good start.
He had a great start.
Yeah. And
Did you see the news on the batteries?
No.
What?
You haven't seen the news on. You haven't seen.
Oh, you mean
news
Aston?
Yeah,
The fact that they have no
Oh.
batteries left.
they have
can
two
only have
batteries.
You have two
The
batteries
ones
for the
that
whole
are on the
season.
car. Yep.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and that's all they have. By the way, I heard the same thing of Mercedes, that Russell's on his second one of his second
Russell's
batteries.
on his second one. That
didn't
I
know
did
that.
see.
Yep.
That's
Wow.
wild.
It's pretty wild. Also, did you guys see the Franco Colapinto penalty banner? Colapinto and go. So it's supposed to be a stop and go penalty, but the broadcasters missed, and it just said Colapinto and go.
Oh
That
my
was the
God.
name of the penalty.
It makes all the sense in the world with his reflexes skill now. Like they just
Colapinto
put
and go.
You just
That's
do the
that's the
put
new
it up
meme.
when he's like
dude.
going through people.
Dude, they should going forward, because that is seriously one of the craziest reactions. When you watch it in slow motion, you just go, he should have hit the back of Lawson.
You're avoiding traffic. You're
Dude.
Colapinto and going.
You know what?
Colapinto and go.
You know what it reminded me of? Corey, you watch Formula 2. Do you remember Isaac's save 2 years
Oh.
ago in F2 in
At-
Monaco?
Monaco. It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. One of the craziest. That honestly, I compare those two. I think
Yeah.
those two are probably the two closest I've ever seen from like full blown. This is going to be horrific to it just being like, oh, that was close.
Yeah.
Like it was wild to me. Anyway, boys, let's wrap this one up.
All right.
That's what we got. So we've
love
got
it.
our Chinese predictions.
Oh yeah.
I'm really
China.
hoping there'll be some more news, obviously, going throughout the week. But then what we'll end up doing is our review and race recap of the Chinese Grand Prix. It could end up being a recap.
Keep that in, please.
I'm not
it
going
in.
to take that out. I'm not editing that out. But I think one of the things that we should probably just pay close attention to throughout the week, of course, is the news of the two races that are likely to be canceled. It's
Yep.
speculative at this point, but I have a feeling within the next 2 days we'll probably know for sure, and
Yep.
we'll talk about that on the next episode. So Appreciate everybody tagging along with us again. New Podium Sessions YouTube page. Please subscribe. You can hear us on all podcast platforms as well. And until next time, see you later, everyone. Peace.
Hasta la vista.
Nos vemos.
Lotus, Lotus, Lotus 72. Lotus, Lotus, Lotus 72.